Welcome to the inaugural posting of Ghostbusters Review. My goal with Ghostbusters is to provide you with reviews of the projected top grossing movie releases each week, or as often as I possibly can. And what better movie to launch this channel with than a review of the brand new Ghostbusters. There's been a lot of controversy, or I guess skepticism would be a better word, surrounding this movie since day one. Since they announced that they were making this movie, people lost their minds. It's received the blessing of the original cast, and for that reason alone, I'm going to give it a chance. They may be being paid large amounts of money to say it's good, but I honestly feel like the guys are being very genuine in recent interviews that I've seen and heard. Dan Aykroyd and Ivan Reitman were even executive producers on this thing, and I trust that they wouldn't allow something to be made if it would have been a disappointment to Harold Ramis's memory. So, that being said, what did I think of the new Ghostbusters? This was a good, entertaining, and fun movie. I know, I'm as surprised as you are, but me and my buddy went and saw it opening night, and we laughed the entire time. And he was one of those hardcore skeptics from the very beginning, all the way leading up to this movie. I'm not going to lie, I'm not a hardcore Ghostbusters fan like my buddy that went and saw it with me. However, I'd venture to say I'm an above average fan. Ghostbusters is one of those things from my childhood that has a nostalgic sentiment attached to it, much like any Ghostbusters fan out there. And I think that's why so many people were so afraid of what to expect with this movie. But to be honest, the closer we got to the release of this movie, the more excited I got. So excited, I even wore my best slime green shirt to go see it. To which my wife commented that I looked like Slimer as I was walking out the door to go to the movies. Thanks, babe. Love you too. Personally, I felt like I was going more for the Ecto Cooler Man look. Oh yeah! So as far as the cast, we had Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, Kate McKinnon, and Leslie Jones filling the team of the Ghostbusters. And kind of as soon as we heard that, we've seen their movies, we've seen them on SNL, that kind of stuff, and it always seems like they get stuck doing the same exact roles in everything they do. So for that reason alone, that was my only skepticism, just because I'm not big fans of theirs. Of those four, I like most of what Kate McKinnon does. I'm not a Kristen Wiig fan. She's hit or miss with me. Melissa McCarthy and Leslie Jones, they both play the same exact role in everything they do. And it's a little obnoxious and gets old really fast. So for those reasons, that was my only criticism and skepticism going into this. But these girls were good. They were very funny and had very good execution in this movie. Each of the characters had hints of similarities to the guys from the original movies, but they really made it their own thing, kind of. You could kind of see, as the movie would go along, you'd say, oh, that's kind of like Egon, or that's kind of like Ray, that kind of thing. But all in all, they kind of made it their own thing. Of the four women, I'd have to say Kate McKinnon was probably the funniest of the women in this movie. But surprisingly, Chris Hemsworth, Thor himself, stole the show. He was absolutely hysterical, and they say a lot of what he did was improvised. There's cameos all over this movie. Not just the original cast members, but all sorts of other faces you'll recognize. I'm not really into giving spoilers, so I don't even want to give the names of these people that show up, because to me, that's part of the fun in watching the movie, is when all of a sudden somebody new pops up that you recognize. I will tell you that all four original guys make an appearance in this movie. Yes, even Harold Ramis shows up in some form or fashion. That's probably not exactly what everybody's expecting. I think most people are probably thinking, oh, Harold Ramis will show up as a ghost. That doesn't happen. What they do is kind of subtle, and it's very classy. I really liked what they did to show Harold Ramis and kind of show in memory of Harold Ramis in this movie. Dan Aykroyd was probably my personal favorite cameo. It's kind of gratuitous pandering to the old school fans, but it's lighthearted and fun. For me, Bill Murray's role was kind of disappointing. Just my personal opinion. I think a lot of people are going to like his role in the movie. People were still laughing while he was in the movie. And he appears longer than any of the originals. But he plays a character that you're not really supposed to like, so it kind of made it a little weird because I really want to like Bill Murray because I really do like Bill Murray a lot. A couple other notable cameos worth mentioning are Slimer and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. They both show up in this movie and it's awesome. Slimer is probably one of the most memorable parts of this entire movie. He's great. He's the perfect combination of the original Slimer and Slimer from the real Ghostbusters cartoon. I really think people are going to love it. Some people might say it's a little over the top. I thought it was hilarious. I loved Slimer in this movie. While mentioning those two guys, I have to take a moment to talk about the action and the effects in this movie. I love that the girls have so many different ghost fighting instruments and weapons. It really seemed to kind of keep things fresh as the movie went along, because they took time testing the weapons and then using the weapons, and it kind of plays out throughout the movie, so I really like that concept. And there's a big climactic action scene near the end that I thought it was incredible. It seriously gave me goosebumps during this scene. I think it's just because it's something you've never seen in a Ghostbusters movie before. And I promise, these girls kick butt. And it's just really cool. Also, I will tell you this. I saw this movie in 3D and it was totally worth the price of admission. Things looked like they were actually flying off the screen at you simply because they would go beyond the boundaries of the letterbox borders. And I thought that was really cool. There was slime, electricity, sparks, ghosts, their proton pack streams, all coming at you. It was very cool effects in 3D. Just want to take a moment to go over a few quick notes to wrap up the review portion of this thing. First of all, that awful new theme song by Fall Out Boy and Missy Elliott. It's terrible if you just listen to it as a standalone song, but when it was inserted into the movie, it actually wasn't half bad. It kind of works for where they used it, and it honestly, they only played it for maybe 20 to 30 seconds. I think the original theme song got more playtime than the new theme song, to be quite honest. And I think I may have heard the old theme a couple of times throughout this movie. Line of the movie, in my opinion, probably goes to Kristen Wiig. She's pleading with the mayor to take action and evacuate the city. The typical mayor doesn't want to do anything because he doesn't want to incite a riot or cause any alarm. And she says to him, "Don't be the mayor from Jaws," which I thought was hilariously appropriate. So line of the movie goes to Kristen Wiig, in my opinion. And finally, stay till the end of the credits. You may have heard that by now, but they do set up a sequel at the end of the credits. And also, kind of throughout the credits as they're rolling, it's kind of engaging. They have stuff going on so that you're not bored. There's a big dance sequence with Chris Hemsworth and stuff like that. But they kind of keep you interested to kind of keep you there for the end sequence. And now for the Grossbusters special, if you will, the Parental Safety review. I want to tell parents exactly what to expect before walking into these movies. This is kind of the whole reason I actually wanted to start this channel in the first place, because I've seen way too many parents over the last couple of years fall victim to walking into these movies with their kids, not knowing exactly what to expect, and they get in there, they've paid $50 or more to bring the kids, and then they realize, uh-oh, probably shouldn't have brought the kids, and now everybody's looking at me like I'm a bad parent because I brought my kid to this movie. I don't like to see that happen, and I want to help you out, parents. I am a parent myself, so I can feel your pain. And I'm going to just be up front. I am a youth pastor, so while giving you these parental reviews, You won't hear me say the bad words either. I like being a youth pastor, and I don't want to lose my job, so you're not going to hear me say the words either. I'm going to try to keep it as kid-friendly as possible. Also, called job security for me. This movie was rated PG-13. I think appropriately so. I think that's a good rating for this movie. It wasn't really outrageous, nothing too bad in it, but it was a little step beyond PG for a few reasons. And I may have missed some of the words that were said or something like that, some of the references maybe. I'm pretty confident I caught everything in this movie. So let me just give you the rundown of the list here. HE double hockey sticks, 7 times. That was the most commonly used word throughout the movie. ASS, 3 of those. PISS, 2 of those. The D word, 2 of those, and the S word, 1 of those. That was probably the most hardcore bad word, I guess you could say, or the worst of the bad words in this movie. So there were 15 total bad words, depending on your severity level of cursing. They were pretty evenly spaced throughout the movie. Nothing in excessive amounts. There was not any time during the movie where they just unloaded a bunch of bad words. In addition to the bad words, there was quite a bit of sexual innuendo in this movie. I tried to get some kind of a count of what was going on. So I had 6 crotch references, ranging from a couple that are pretty straightforward penis comments to a few that kids probably won't catch. There was also a scene where they're going through a series of middle finger jokes. There were 4 sexual innuendos ranging from stripper pole, strippogram comments to a virginity joke. And then there was another one where one of the girls says something about one of the other girls not being used to being on her knees, was the comment. Again, they're all very quick comments that I personally don't think most kids are going to understand them more than likely. And there is one scene, and I think it's been in the previews on some of the previews. Chris Hemsworth is trying to come up with a logo, and he happens to draw the classic Ghost logo with a pair of breasts. Just letting you know that's in there as well. Nothing gratuitous or graphic or anything, but it's in there, so I'm going to let you know. I'm just passing this along to you to be able to use your own discernment, and you be the judge if you think it's appropriate for your kids or not. That's completely up to you, but there you go. So again, I confidently give this movie 2 thumbs up. And I have to say, after all the controversy and skepticism leading up to this movie, I personally, honestly don't think there was any underlying political agenda by having an all-female cast. For example, they could have easily gone with a cast such as Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, and Don Cheadle, or something along the lines of Channing Tatum, Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen, and Craig Robinson, or even Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly, Mark Wahlberg, and Kevin Hart, for example, or Vin Diesel, The Rock, Jason Statham, and Tyrese. But we've already seen all those movies before, so why not let the girls have an action comedy for a change? It was good. I think they could have easily turned this into a continuation of the original movies, but regardless, this movie works for me. I think it's a good place to pick up with the franchise. If nothing else, it keeps the franchise alive for another generation. I've had to use that line a lot lately with movies like Ninja Turtles and Star Wars and these type franchises sort of taking these big risks at a comeback. And another thing, I absolutely love the fact that I've been able to take my own daughter to Ninja Turtles movies and Star Wars movies and share moments like that with her, things that many people my age vividly remember from our own childhoods, moments like that made us fans forever. I love being able to do that with my own daughter and with my other daughter that'll be able to go to movies in the next couple years. Um, as a nerd dad, to me that's awesome. So I love that these franchises are coming back and letting me have these moments with my kids now. I do have two quick suggestions for Sony or Universal or Paul Feig, or even Dan Aykroyd, Mr. Reitman, whoever will listen. I have a suggestion for you. There's a lot of crossovers coming out. I know you set up your second movie. That's great. I'm looking forward to it already. Make your second movie. But with all these crossovers coming out, you know, in the past we've had Alien vs. Predator, Jason vs. Freddy, Freddy vs. Jason, whatever it is. We've had now Batman vs. Superman, and you know, the Avengers things all tying together. And I think they're even rumored that they're starting a 21 Jump Street Men in Black crossover. So with that in mind, make your second movie, but don't forget, if you run out of ideas, there's always this as an option. Make your second Ghostbusters movie and then let them make their third Turtles movie. But after that, hey, why don't you take a chance on a crossover movie? I think it could work. I'd go see it. And my second suggestion is there's this little thing going on called Pokemon Go right now, and like everybody's doing it. And so I think there's a lot of companies trying to come up with, well, what can we do that's like a Pokemon Go app? Well, perfect suggestion. Make a Ghostbusters Go app. I would love to run around town catching ghosts. If I'm having this much fun catching Pokemon, how much cooler would it be to catch a ghost around town?
I got a class 5 4-Roman vapor over here! Quick, somebody throw a trap! Don't cross the streams!
So yeah, definitely get on making a Ghostbusters Go app. I think it'd be great. I, for one, will definitely be buying Ghostbusters when it comes out on DVD. And actually, I'm eagerly already planning to see it a second time to take my wife to go see it. So, hats off to you, Mr. Feig. And if you're one of those people who want to hate this movie, it is undeniably funny. I dare you to walk out of this movie and try to say otherwise. You honestly have no right to hate on it until you see it for yourself. So go see it. Give it a chance. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So who are you going to call? I say call your friends, call your neighbor, call your brother, call your wife, call your kids, call your mama, call your grandmama, call your dog, whoever. Call anybody. Tell them to go see Ghostbusters. It's a fun movie. I hope this review's helpful for you. I don't have a catchphrase or anything witty to say at the end of these things yet. So until next time. See you.